Hello and welcome to the official piloting guide for the Helios combat mech. Recently had jaw surgery, so I haven't been doing a lot of talking, so if I do slur my speech, do forgive me. However, I am attempting to talk in my best ability as it stands now. Now that being said, this is the Helios version 1.12 public. The public version features very little difference than the actual version I use. A slight recoloration of the missiles and glass, a removal of the sun emblem for the side, and a removal of a smoke emitter from the bottom. These are mostly features for telling them apart from the original, and also to make them accessible to people who do not have premium. We hope you understand, and it really shouldn't be too hard to slap a stamp or smoke on the thing if you want to again. Okay, that might be a lie. This is kind of a complex beastie. Just going to run over the basics of the mech before we get started with the actual piloting for everything you know about how it's built. The core is located in the rear of the pelvis. Always a good place to start. The pelvis is mounted on top, and it actually destroys separately from the core, so core damage is highly minimal unless you are struck directly in the rear, which is pretty dang rare. It has a gap in the waist for ample turret turning without sticking. It turns at the waist for yaw, left to right that is. It has legs that are also spaced out with these cute little couplers. It has some weird stuff going on in the knees. So before we talk about the knees, let's talk about the arms. Actually, let's talk about the body first. We have a fake cockpit you can open for decorative features. Has a little guy inside who's happy to drive. We have mounted missiles. We have the mounted demolisher chest cannons, which are incredibly devastating, especially for this thing's size. We have the shoulders, which you notice are tilted about, I think it's either 7 or 9 degrees outwards. This creates minimal contact with the legs below, and is also why the legs themselves pivot the exact same amount of degrees outwards before pivoting back towards the center on the knee with this double overlap fake knee. The arms themselves aim up and down purely, and the waist handles the left-right movement. The arms themselves have guns mounted. These are both machine guns and shotguns, depending which mode you set them to. By default, they fire 12 out of 16 attacks, considering that 16 is the cap amount of attacks for battle mode. Boss tags don't work in battle mode, so you don't get your 64 you're betting on there. But that's alright, because you can do a hell of a lot of damage with 12 or 16. Now, there's also a half power setting, which will make each gun fire at 8 attacks instead of 12, meaning you can get exactly 16 attacks for maximum firepower. Now, on top of that, we also happen to have these stabilizing fins. I'm not going to talk about these too much, but basically these are just weighted fins, and when engaging airplane mode, or jet mode I guess what you call it, these deploy downwards in these little slots here to better stabilize the arms. While the arms are stabilized, it reduces the amount of drift you get in elevation depending on your aiming angle. This is incredibly handy for being able to aim where you want and not mess up your flight pattern. It's not 100% effective, I imagine. I haven't done rigorous testing, but I'm pretty dang certain it at least helps. In fact, I am certain it helps. So past that, there's not a whole lot else to say other than as a bonus feature, we have Newtonian shock absorbers on the arm joints. So basically, as the turret turns left to right, firing produces recoil that will attempt to jerk it a certain amount off target before stabilizing, as it will move faster and faster trying to restabilize the further off target it is. But suffice to say, this is kind of a pain for aiming. So one solution in the past has been using thrusters to counteract the Newtonian reaction we call recoil. However, this is not particularly effective in the current version. Well, it's not really particularly effective to begin with. It has issues with if part breaks off, how does it affect with the new weight? If you're using the alternate gun mode, you have to set up alternate programming. And a couple of other things that just kind of make it problematic. The Newtonian shock absorbers do two things. Firstly, they mitigate recoil highly. You can see that there's like this fake slotting here. This actually represents the area in which the arms will bob backwards in their up-down aim. If there's a dog barking in the background, I apologize. Someone's apparently at my door or something. As well, the second feature on the Newtonian shock absorbers is has been noted, especially with heavy mechs, when incoming fire strikes the left and right arms, or any other outward point, it acts as a lever, giving it mechanical advantage. given the far point of contact with the body. It's like when you're on a teeter-totter. You get more effect on a teeter-totter standing on the end than you do on the center. For the exact same reason, striking the outward reaches of the arms are much more effective at veering the weapons off course from enemy fire than striking the center. It's pretty obvious stuff, I thought I'd explain it. The Newtonian shock absorbers actually mitigate a large amount of the incoming knockback from incoming enemy fire and mitigate it so you can stay on target even while getting blitzed by a whole crapload of fire. Now, that's about all I have to say about the Helios, but the last thing I will say is that it does transform into a jet. And I'll demonstrate this briefly in a minute because it's not all that complex. Gosh, fuck, I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, and the transformation of the jet adds no extra moving parts, except for these flaps, which are entirely optional. Past that, I think we have a sled base we use to create a nigh immortal level of balance, but given the Helios' carefully weighted nature to begin with, we have an incredibly small AG compensator we're using on this. We use a larger one for flight mode for obvious reasons, most of it to negate weight, part of it to realign to a new rotation. But yeah, it's pretty simple stuff, really. It just sticks on target. It's not that complex. Next, let me just check over a little feature here. No? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we're just going to install this real quick, and we're going to actually lower the amount of energy cost while in flight mode with the subsystems. And this will also increase the balance of flight mode, so win-win, right? Right, little tweak made. That's all we really need to know, and we have our standard targeting lasers as well. This time for realsies, let's get going. And, yeah. I'll also put a link in the description if you don't know, so you can check out the spot if you happen to find it on YouTube before the workshop for whatever reason. We're going to load a more appropriate enemy, the Bobcat 130, let's make it, which is basically what this mech is largely based off of in research. The Bobcat was an upsizing of the Lynx, and the Lynx is a economic combat mech meant to be incredibly short stature, really. You'll notice there's a lot of similarities, but also some differences between the two. They are almost identical in stature and width and basically everything else. I mean, even the legs are very similar. They even have a rear core on pelvis. However, their rear definition is a little different. So yeah, now that we're in game, everything should behave normally, but some delays and intervals are based on your frames per second. As I'm recording at 22 frames per second to save file size, you can expect this will actually just absolutely not work how intended for some of these features. Now, realistically, we use the middle mouse button. Actually, let's go back up. I'm going to use the middle mouse button to go to first person and third person. The toggle. You just push it once and it toggles. You push R. It is also a toggle to enable the laser sights. You'll notice they're basically on target with the crosshair. And if you aim for wherever the heck that crosshair is pointed, you can just pop a shot. Chances are you'll hit your target. The guns for machine gun mode are not particularly accurate due to the short stature of the guns, meant to keep it a compact mech. But if you set them to shotgun mode, they are significantly more accurate, usually at least one pellet hitting their target at any point in time. Usually. So there is a practical range, but there is not a you're absolutely going to hit nothing range, and the lasers themselves are accurate to the epicenter of where you're firing. So even when that quake of fire comes rumbling all over the place, it's mostly going to hit there, if anything. Now, past that, we have, let's talk about the guns. Left mouse fires the left gun. Right mouse fires the right gun. If you want to toggle the mode of the guns between machine gun and shotgun, you can use 1. Not numpad 1, just 1. It's above WASD, and it's on the left for the left gun. 3, accordingly being above D, is on the right, and it also toggles shotgun mode on the right gun. Now, as 2 is in between 1 and 3, once again, also not numpad, it toggles the dual fire mode, or the half cock mode, where it fires 8 projectiles instead of 12 per arm. So you can fire both indefinitely. You can also fire both of these guys, just good old rocking around and shooting the things. The shotgun machine gun combo it's pretty simple. So I'm kind of spacing here. Right, now past that, W will move you forward. Note that you move forward relative to the green dotted lines This is the center axis of the torso. Upper half moves 360 wraparound like a tank, independent of the body, like a tank. So you can walk in one direction and shoot in another, like a tank. Alright, last time I'm saying that, I swear. Right, so in this case I can walk leftwards when I'm pushing forwards. Both left and right will color white, so it can be hard to tell which way is actually forward and backward, unless you keep in your head where the positive or negative side is. So just keep that in mind. S will move you backwards. D will turn you. A will turn you. You turn better while you're running, for very complex reasons. You're like not touching the ground as much. So it aids turning through the actual walking motion, the feet lifting off the ground just that ever so slight amount I allow. And yes, let's talk about some other weaponry before we get moving here. Q will fire the Demolisher chest cannons, which are a combination of 2-to-1 ratio machine gun to tank gun rounds. And they alternate which one's firing which setting in a 4-piece cycle of double fire. This is a specialized anti-ground weapon, and it is by far the most devastating weapon on this mech. It will always fire 16 shots no matter what mode half-cock is on, and it just rains fire down. As it does not aim up or down, it only aims left and right with the body, so it is only an anti-ground weapon. However, it is extraordinarily effective in both damage output, aiming easily when you maybe otherwise be getting veered off target with your arms. Although I have yet to see that actually happen on this model, let me say outright. The Newtonian shock absorbers do work, from what I can tell. All in all, they just deal a crap load of damage. One of the advantages of the Demolisher chest cannon is since machine gun rounds and tank gun rounds have different muzzle velocities, at long range, if someone tries to dodge you as you're aiming while they're moving, they have 2 different streams of projectiles they have to account for, which can be very confusing, in some cases downright impossible to dodge properly, without using verticality, that is. Right, so next we have missiles, and we're going to push E to activate those. They lock on at a plus 10 degree angle, so they can hit ground targets, but they're more suited at hitting slightly airborne or airborne targets. This is mostly for anti-air fire. They aren't particularly deadly unless you charge them up. But like all missiles, if you get struck by a machine gun round on your missile batteries, it will disable all of the missiles and take them all out. Not a huge surprise. Alright, that handles all the weaponry we have. And next up, we're talking about verticality. So let's talk about the other ground mech controls. You can push space to jump in a fast jump motion. You can push shift and X to instantly stomp towards the ground. This is a kind of like a quick jump stomp maneuver to kind of avoid enemy fire, although it is not perfect, I will admit. Actually, right, yeah, and these are automatically refiring. So you hold the key, it will keep firing every 3-4 seconds, something like that. And on top of that, we also have a dash. You can push W and it will dash forward. You want to run before you initiate dash and after you initiate dash. If you dash while not running or not stopping, you will probably flip on your face and land. So the good news is just don't use this for sudden turns. It will absolutely whiplash the crap out of you. If you just run, you dash, let go, you chip. But if you go recenter yourself, whoosh, and you run, you dash, you keep running, and then you stop. Oh, yeah, I didn't wait for the velocity to mitigate. So the good news is you're probably not going to use dash a lot, because dashing towards your enemy increases the damage you take. However, if you need it for a quick getaway, it's also there. Oh, actually, I'm remembering my trick here. Let me go and teach you the trick. So it's related to not necessarily whiplash, but sled activation. So you can push S, and S will mitigate it just well enough to land. So you can just come to a screeching halt. Like, that's just absolutely, like, popping a wheelie on a mech. You can push S, and then push F, and you can dash backwards, giving you yet more options. If you want to just move upwards for like hovering over terrain just kind of passively, you can push H to hover. It will tilt slightly forward, don't be alarmed, it has a max out point and it won't kill you. And you can push X to fall slightly faster if you just knew a little bit of fall speed. If you're landing at a hard landing, let's say, and you come ricocheting off the ground, you can push X and hold X to keep yourself anchored towards the ground so your feet want to suck down to the ground due to the downward motion. That's basically all there is about ground mode. Oh, right, I've got one thing. You can push shift, and this will recenter your torso to be on target. You can also push numpad 0. This will lock your guns, indicated by a flashing red light indicator. And your guns will no longer aim up and down, but they will aim left to right. This is more of kind of a social feature for not just, muzzling people all the time, because they probably view that as a turret sizing them down and wanting to shoot them. So this kind of helps reduce that a little bit while keeping the lasers off. Let's see, we also have numpad 5, which will turn off the lasers. It will prime the guns and aim them down, or disarm the guns and aim them down, and it will pop the cockpit, so you're a smiling little guy inside. This is definitely a social feature, if anything. It just locks everything, and you're just, decommissioned mech chilling. Very friendly, very fun, very courteous, and I think that covers all ground mode controls. Let me go quickly check out the manual to make sure. We're doing a great job so far. Thank you for sticking with me thus far, because next comes the important part, I assure you. Oh, right. I have a junk control in it from mine, so I'll have to remove that in a second. You won't see this in the finished version, I assure you. Now, let's see. Oh, yeah, looks good. Also, probably remove a couple other controls. Now, one of the crowning features of the Helios, and the reason why it's called the Helios, is because this sucker turns into a jet, and it flies. Right now I'm doing this in prone mode, so you can see the transformation in action. By pushing numpad 7 and then pushing numpad 8, you can disable the anti-gravity effects. And then you can push 8, and you'll just kind of sit there and chill. And I can just push 8 and toggle this all I want. But you want to push 7 and turn that off again later, because this does turn off your balance system if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, the prone mode is currently pretty useless. You can't turn left to right very well on it, but you can shoot a lot of bullets, and that's pretty cool. You can aim up and down, of course. The guns are more than enough flexible for that. Which is actually another point I'll go real quickly. These guns, see, it'll turn off your balance systems. These guns will absolutely aim all sorts of directions. Any directions you can think of, they will aim. They can aim virtually 360 wraparound, practically speaking. So, these guns have crazy flexibility, which is one of their designs. They can sometimes slightly snag on the legs, but the good news is that the Newtonian shock absorbers kind of soften up and they kind of bounce around the legs instead of just getting plain old stuck. So that's good. So now let's get to jet mode. We're going to push space to get in the air as a good way to make sure you're safe and above ground level. If you initiate on ground level, you can face plant if you don't know what you're doing. If you happen to face plant, push Z. You'll reorient and you'll go in the air a little bit. But to demonstrate why this is, that's because normally Helios stands up like this, but now you're in jet mode, so you're flying upwards. So this is actually really handy for getting off the ground. So when you're flying, you use A and D to turn. You use S and W. S will aim you up, W will aim you down, like jet inverse controls. I know. I usually hit them myself, but they seem alright in this case. Right. So you're going flying around, and we have our lasers on. Notice that the guns are not aiming naturally, nor is the body moving. You're just kind of like this flying carpet robot thing. Now, if you want to start shooting stuff, there's a couple tricks you can do. Firstly, you can use missiles to lock on things and fire. You can still aim the demolishers, just running lead down on your enemies. Terribly so. And also notice that when transforming, I'm just going to park this sucker for a minute. Now, transforming, the light indicators turn off. They are outright actually just flung right back behind you when you transform. That's a very good feature. So you have all your peripheral vision that you can keep. It also moves the camera forward slightly. Another great trick. Make sure you can, aim the sucker about as well as you ever could without having your guns in your way. So you have maximum peripheral vision. This is very important for flying, because flying is not a forgiving sport. So now that we're flying around, let's go and push F for turbo. This is an automatic, and I mean fully automatic afterburner. You will haul booty in this thing. If you're less than about 420% energy or so, you probably can't sustain the afterburner, but you will come just flying right out of the gate there. In fact, you can lose up and downward control, so if that happens, push F. It is a toggle, so you have an afterburner mode and an afterburner holding. That's kind of nice. Now we're going to disable our control menus here. Now disable info while I'm at it. Right. As our nice little flying carpet here, we're going to enable our guns. We can start aiming and shooting. Actually, before that, let's go into this. Let's push 4. Not numpad 4, normal 4. Oh, right, yeah, we don't have the parabolic lasers, because those are really weird. Push E to check. It should drop a whole crapload of bombs. Overrides your missiles mode with a bombing mode. These are just machine gun, just total goon-fired mortar, just to kind of spray down an entire enemy force wherever the heck you're driving over. They're not particularly hard to aim, especially given their spammy nature, but they are energy intensive, so just keep that in mind. You can fire 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 volleys so you go out of energy, unless you're in high spec, which one, don't worry, you're probably a-okay. So yeah, we're going to flick off 4. And now, to enable guns in flight mode, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push, we're going to push 5. Not numpad 5, standard 5, as I like to clarify. But before we do that, we're going to push numpad 0 to launch the guns. But we're in flight mode. The guns are already locked, you say. That's the point. So what this does is this enables your guns to aim up and down in flight mode, but not to roll left to right. The rolling is insane. That's why I doubled the gun lock as a roll lock. So you don't end up doing weird stuff like this. Now this can work, but holy crap is it disorienting. You can push 0, lock the guns, and you can aim straight up and down. Let's go ahead and push 2 here. There we go. We're going to fly over something. We're going to disable gun lock. Well, no, I'm not going to shoot it apparently. So you can use it to shoot if you plan in advance, but gosh, this rolling can get pretty crazy sometimes. So I just tend to leave that off and use standard aiming to do the rest, because it's easier to just yell and shoot the crap out of things as you fly by than the other way around. And you can aim pretty far down with your camera and guns, so you can just kind of like almost just strafe over things and bombard the crap out of them. Shotgun mode still works. Whoops, that's the wrong button I just pushed. Yeah, so you have shotgun mode, and you can do that, which is pretty nice. We're going to disable the aiming again. I think we're forgetting exactly one thing. Let me figure out what. Oh, yes, I'm forgetting exactly one thing. And that is, you can push V when in flight mode to engage your rear view camera. Your guns will attempt to aim to match. And there we go. Boom. Nailed it. Right. Oops, hit something. What I hit, but I hit something. Right. Oh, I am actually flying upwards still. Okay. Feels like I'm stopped for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, Jesus. Is gun lock not on? There we go. Let's gun lock on. So yeah, you can just shoot behind yourself with this. Now that I'm not messing up. And we're going to land this guy, disabling gun lock, disabling aim, and push 8, and you will transform back into ground mode. And generally comes soaring right down gracefully. That's pretty well balanced, so that's not to bite you in the butt. So yeah. With that being said, I'm probably actually going to do some work in a bit here with the camera. I'm going to disable the camera from rolling in flight mode, chances are. So the camera might not suck anymore in air mode. I'm trying to crack what was causing all this rolling, and I think I finally have it, so I don't know, we'll see in the finished version. Don't count on it. And yeah, that's pretty much everything you know about the Helios. It's part jet, it's part mech, but it's mostly a ground mech, meant to be compact and economic, but still surprisingly deadly, killing other things when it has to. So, yeah, that's all to say about this. We're sure to leave any footnotes about anything that's changed, if I change anything really drastic in the comments of the workshop item. Maybe in the YouTube. Probably not the YouTube. Just heads up. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hope you found this informative, and good luck fragging the crap out of things in, quote, OP mechs. This just in, local jackass ruins everything. Here's how the Helios should fly in perfectly level flight. Those AGDs were important, turns out. Found that out, so that's good. Those will be enabled in the final product. Do not disable them unless you really like crashing to the ground a lot. I sincerely doubt that, though. And this also probably explains why aiming was so craptacular. You know, it makes a hell of a lot easier when all I have to worry about is rolling a little bit. You know, and I'm still actually gaining elevation as I'm doing this. I can just gun this dude for days. Look at that, beautiful. And that's how it's supposed to be. So it's more like a unusual snipe method than an actual bomb error or fighter method. And this thing can dogfight pretty well. But my last bonus tip for if you're wondering what this crappy jet mode does, and you probably should be by now, the best thing you can do with it is fly overhead to inspect the enemies, park your crap, land behind them, and proceed to nuke the crap out of them. It's a pretty effective tactic. Not always the single greatest tactic ever invented, but, if nothing else, it keeps the enemy guessing, and the dynamic switching between the two, combined with the Helios' innate ability to always land on its feet, it seems, even in short-range transformations like that, means you can, less guaranteed, you can pull off move out of your butt in a pinch. But flying jet mode, you will be exposed, so just do keep mind of that. Fly smart, be safe. And remember, you have 360 aim, so it's pretty easy to park on top of your enemy and just blow the crap out of them. Definitely a lot better than that crappy SC2 Viking I made back in the day. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoy.